Good morning, Coach Kevin here with our daily law of attraction training and support study. I'm going to go ahead and hop into screen share here and we're going to get going. So first thing I'd like to share with you guys, those of you that are watching this as a recorded video, here is where you can find us. This is where we are putting the archives of the the daily recordings. So this is where we're putting the recordings of what we're doing each day. So if you want to catch up with us, you're welcome to do that. And it's free to join us. So come find Daily Law of Attraction Training and Support with Coach Kevin. You can find it at facebook.com/groups/Daily Law of Attraction Training. And as you can see here, this is where we put the recordings of what's been going on. Alrighty. We are currently in the process of studying a book right now called The Jackrabbit Factor. I'm going to tell you how to get a free copy of it so you can read it yourself and so you can follow along with us if you like to. So Jackrabbit Factor ebook 8.0. The easiest thing to do is go to Google, type in Jackrabbit Factor PDF. The very first response will probably be exactly that. Just click on it, it'll open up for you just like it has. And then if you want to download it, you can. This book is written by a friend of mine. Her name's Leslie Householder. She and I first met each other at the very end of 2005. I went through a law of attraction course with her around the book called The Science of Getting Rich. Leslie at that time was a facilitator and coach for Bob Proctor's program, The Science of Getting Rich. And I went to that 3-day program and it made a big difference in my life. Leslie has since moved on and now does her own coaching. She still sees Bob Proctor as somebody, obviously, that helped her get her start. And I myself have been personally coached by Bob Proctor, and I'm also a law of attraction coach. So love this book. It is different than most books that you're going to read, especially in relationship to the law of attraction. Why do I say it's different? Because it has something totally new? No, that's not why I'm saying it's different. I'm saying it's different because it is written in a story format, as an allegory. So this is a fictional writing, but it's based on actually things that have happened in the life of Leslie Householder and her husband, Trevin Householder. So they took kind of what their life was like and ended up putting it into this format. And as we read along, you will find characters have different names. And more often than not, the name actually is something significant and symbolic to what we're reading and what we're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud here. You can follow along. I'll add commentary when I feel it is appropriate. And if I've got something I feel that's worth sharing with you guys. And then when we're done, we'll see if anybody has any questions or comments. And that's how our typical 30 minutes, call it 25 minutes or so, goes each morning. All right, this chapter, The Resolve, chapter 16. Felicity and Matthew walked into the woods. It was nearly dark. Each time she felt herself fear or slip into a brief panic, she closed her eyes and whispered to herself, "When I have a choice, I choose to believe." She imagined hugging Richard again, then holding his face and telling him how sorry she was for not believing in him. She imagined saying how grateful she was for all the attempts to provide. She pictured herself letting him know that it didn't matter if nothing changed. She could be happy just the way things were. After all, they had a roof over their head. They had each other. That's all that they really needed anyway. If they ran out of food, something she had worried about but never really expected could happen, then they'd starve together. But at least they'd do it together. Felicity and Matthew walked hand in hand, talking about how good it was going to feel to find him. This lifted Matthew's spirits considerably, as well as Felicity's, and they began to quicken their pace and leap the logs and rocks playfully together. He was out to find Daddy, as in a game of hide and seek. Daddy, I'm going to find you. You can't hide from me. Matthew jumped off a rock and let out a giggle. Felicity smiled and followed Matthew through the pines. Chapter 17, The Task. Richard kept on. He had 2 rabbits in hand and a heart full of gratitude. These should last us a while, he thought. Then looking down, he spoke out loud, "Oh my, a boy and a girl rabbit. God sure knows how to give good gifts." A woman and a man passed by holding hands. Isn't that the truth? They smiled, and Richard saw they each had a rabbit, and at least 20 more were following behind freely. What? How? Richard was speechless. Oh, this is what happens when you get good at writing your goals down, and also when the goals are unselfish. All these rabbits are for others who are in need or unable to provide for themselves. God has proved that he can trust us with abundance because we keep giving a portion away. The more we give, the more we get. Richard smiled. Once again, he had that warm, familiar feeling of being right at home with a new idea. So how cool is that, guys? The woman continued, "We gave even when we didn't have much to share, but we just decided early on that we would commit to giving away a percentage of all we were blessed with. I've known people that give and give and give, but I have never seen this kind of getting in my life. That's because giving is only part of it. The other part is knowing exactly what you want and writing it down as though it's already yours. If you don't make the formal request, it's like God has to operate as though you are content enough just the way things are. I have to write it down? Yes, and then you know the rest. I see you've been successful in your own right." The woman referred to the 2 rabbits in Richard's hands. "You mean visualizing and feeling?" "Yes, that's it." Richard was no longer so amazed because now he was surrounded on all sides with people who had discovered the same principles. It just seemed normal to think this way. And again, how cool is that when it becomes normal to think this way? It would take some time to completely understand the gestation period thing in practical application, but he was willing to figure that out along the way. He had some uncertainties, but at least he knew his part. He had control of, or at least a growing control of, his own thoughts. After all, that's all he could control anyway. The timing didn't really matter. He would leave that in God's hands. He planned to write down in detail a description of his life as he wanted it, as though it had already happened, with some future date at the top, like a journal entry. He would allow himself to feel gratitude as though it was already his. And then he would go and let God do the rest. And then he would let go and let God do the rest. And when a doubtful thought would come into his mind, he'd discard it. When he sensed that he should do this or that, he would do it because he would trust that it was the voice of inspiration leading him to accomplish his goal. Then what about reuniting with his wife and son? He had what he needed. When would he get to be with them? How long would the rest of this journey have to take? He realized there was something he hadn't done. He looked around because he didn't have a pen and paper to commit his desire in writing. And out there in the wilderness, there was no hope of finding them. In fact, even if he did have a pen and paper, his hands were busy holding rabbits. "I can't write it down. I don't even have a pen and paper." Surely I wouldn't be expected to chop a tree down and manufacture a pencil and paper just to write my goal. Besides, I don't have the foggiest idea where to come up with the graphite for the lead. Now, if there was a store anywhere in sight, I might be able to do something, but there's nothing around. Now what? Richard was frustrated and somewhat discouraged. This isn't going to work for me. I don't have what I need and couldn't do it even if I did because my hands are full. Besides, there's nowhere to put the rabbits down without them wandering off. I don't believe that they just stay by my side, at least not yet. Then he remembered what to do because now he was thinking like a winner. He closed his eyes and imagined a pen and paper in his hands, generating a feeling of gratitude. With not a clue about how it would help, he did it anyway. Someone tapped him on the shoulder, interrupting his meditation, and said, "Excuse me, mind if I hold your rabbits for just a moment? I've really needed to know what it feels like to hold rabbits. See, I'm trying to catch a few myself." Richard smiled and said, "Of course." But the man's hands were full. He was holding tight to a notepad and a pen, for he had just written down a goal of his own. Richard said, "May I hold your things for a moment so your hands are free to hold the rabbits?" "Oh, sure." "Would you mind if I took one of your papers for myself and borrowed your pen?" "I'd be pleased." The man traded rabbits for paper, and Richard remembered, "That which you desire is looking for you." Richard wrote a future date on the top of the paper. Then under the date he wrote, "I'm so happy and grateful now that Felicity and I are together. Matthew is here, and we are joyful and full of amazement at God's goodness to us. We have 2 rabbits and know how to get more as needed. We feel peace and happiness as we play. Matthew and I enjoy throwing the ball and learning how to play catch together. Felicity and I enjoy dancing together, and Matthew feels happy and secure in knowing that his parents love each other. We enjoy sharing what we have learned with friends and family, and anyone else who is seeking the wisdom of the ages, the laws of thought." The man saw that Richard was done with the pen, and so he held out the rabbits and said, "Thank you very much, mister. This is really going to help me imagine what it will be like for me to catch my first rabbit." "My pleasure, young man. Thank you for the paper." With that, Richard tucked the paper in his back pocket, took the rabbits from the young man, and walked on with an assurance and expectation that he would very soon be reunited with his family. After all, he'd finally done all that he'd been told to do. Expecting it now was easier than he ever thought it would be. Chapter 18, the beginning. Felicity followed Matthew and continued to call for her husband. "Daddy, daddy, daddy, daddy," Matthew sang. "I'm going to find you." Matthew climbed up a large boulder and turned his head. "There he is, Mommy. We did it. We found him." Felicity ran to catch up with Matthew, and sure enough, she saw Richard resting under the tree and against the rock. "Is he asleep, Mom? Is that why he couldn't hear us?" "Yes, Matthew." Felicity was confident. They approached him, and Felicity gently shook his shoulder. "Richard, honey, it's time to wake up." Richard mumbled in his sleep, "Oh, thanks, but I already found a paper." "Richard, it's Felicity." Her eyes were moist. Richard opened his eyes and blinked a few times. Out of the corner of his eye, he thought he saw a wild rabbit thump on a snake, leaving it almost, but not completely, lifeless, then dashed away. He looked at Felicity and then at Matthew, and tears of joy came to his eyes. "Oh, honey, it's so good to see you." Felicity held his face and spoke softly. "Richard, I'm sorry about what happened and how I acted. I'm grateful for you, Richard, and if nothing were to ever change, I'd be happy enough just to be with you." "Oh, Felicity, everything's going to be okay. I know for a fact that everything is going to be just fine. Do you realize we have all we need to live abundantly and share a lot? We're going to be wealthy." Felicity pulled back a perplexed look in her eyes. "How on earth is that going to happen?" "I have no idea, but I know where to start. Felicity, what we want wants us. You know, Rich, it's going to take a miracle." "Yeah, well, Felicity, I happen to believe in miracles." Only a moment later, an unknown gentleman on the other side of Richard's very own town paused mid-sentence and told his dinner companion, "I just had an amazing idea." Points to ponder. Cool. So we've got some time here. Let's do this. Here's a list of the main ideas and questions from the Jackrabbit Factor, which you may think about or ask yourself often. Refer to them regularly and believe in your dreams. There's a sip of water here. What do I want? I will spend time deciding exactly what I want and why. I will set aside all the reasons it may seem impossible and all the reasons I think it may fail, while I allow myself to imagine a wonderful new picture for my life. Let me repeat that. What do I want? I will spend time deciding exactly what I want and why. So it's what and why. I will set aside all the reasons it may seem impossible and all the reasons I think it may fail, while I allow myself to imagine a wonderful new picture for my life. The passionate thoughts will emanate from my mind like radio waves, causing unseen things to happen on my behalf. I will enjoy success in my mind. I will feel the victory now, and I will know that these constructive thoughts are my little soldiers sent out to fight my battles ahead of me. They are preparing the way. There is no obstacle so great that there is not also a way prepared for me to succeed. There's always a way. If I can see it in my mind, and if it does not violate anyone else's free agency, then it's possible. I will not give up until I find the way. I have all I need to get started, and that's all that matters. Like an acorn in the ground, I will act on my immediate surroundings. In time, my connections will lead me to obtain all I need to accomplish my grand design. I will write it down. I will submit my goal to the master chef. I will expect my results to come just as I ordered. Therefore, I will be careful to be completely specific in my description. The more specific the desire, the more amazed I will be when it comes. And as a result, I will know that its realization was no coincidence. I am continually grateful to the Master for all I receive. Whatever I need to accomplish my goal will be drawn to me once I have planted the seed in my mind. I know that all I need is on its way. Therefore, it is so. Whatever my circumstances are, I can always choose my own thoughts. As I believe that there is only abundance, my eyes will be open to see solutions and opportunities that would otherwise be hidden from my view. I expect to find what I seek. It is my choice to maintain an expectant mind set, which actually lights the way. Without an expectation, the way remains hidden in the darkness. When I have a choice, I choose to believe. It does me no harm to believe. If I am wrong, I will cross that bridge when I come to it. In the meantime, I have nothing to lose by believing. I choose to believe. It is a choice. Doubt not, fear not. It just simply isn't good for me. Doubt and fear are emotions that can put me in harmony with the very thing I fear. I will choose to dismiss fearful and doubtful thoughts because they are mental images of circumstances that may never happen. Why would I ever want to waste mental energy attracting something I don't want? How badly do I want wisdom? I expect to make sacrifices for wisdom. I eagerly make the necessary sacrifice because I know it will be worth the price. Wisdom may be one of the only things I will take with me when I pass. An investment in my knowledge will pay great dividends. I'll get what I ask for out of life. I'll have the courage to ask. I have nothing to lose by asking. If I hear no, then I'm no worse off than before. If I hear yes, then I'll celebrate and learn to expect yes more frequently. I'll visualize the outcome, and the right people will do the right things to help it happen. It is not for me to know who the right people are. I do not manipulate people with my thoughts. I simply emanate the desires of my heart and move my feet. Others who can help me along the way are also helped by me to accomplish their goals as well. There is more than enough for everybody. If the supply ever ran dry, more would be created out of the formless substance in the same way it was created in the beginning. There is no need for competition. By operating on a creative plane rather than a competitive plane, my eyes will continue to see opportunities in abundance. Only by my doubt and fear will I ever live in scarcity. I'm expecting. I want my objective to happen at the right time. Just as a baby in the womb needs time to develop, so does my new idea. I will be patient and allow it to grow at nature's pace. I want it to arrive fully formed, healthy and strong. If I must wait longer than expected, my anticipation will only increase, and I will continue to prepare for its arrival. I will write a detailed description of my life. I will describe it just as I want it, as though it has already happened, with the future date at the top, like a journal entry. I will allow myself to feel gratitude as though it is already mine. I will experience it now. That which I desire is looking for me. Nature is friendly to my plans. I only have to go halfway, because that which I desire meets me in the middle. I know that as I continue to move toward the accomplishment of my goal, the outcome is approaching me just as rapidly. Let's see here. We've still got a few minutes. Okay. A few extra points to ponder from the epilogue which follows. I will scrutinize each word in my goal or gratitude statement. I will write a future date at the top, a date I hope to see the dream come true. The date is far enough away to be believable, but close enough to keep me awake at night. I will only choose words for my gratitude statement which make me think of the positive aspects of the dream. I will write in present tense and describe how it feels now that I enjoy the success. I will follow the format date. I'm so happy and grateful now that I enjoy because. Goal first, ways second. I will not select the goal based on a way I already have in mind. If I do, then I am not dreaming big enough. I will select the goal based on the desires of my heart. The way will come after the goal is properly set, after I've composed and internalized my gratitude statement. I know exactly what fear is, and it doesn't stop me. If I feel fear or anxiety related to achieving my goal, I know it's simply my subconscious mind wrestling with two contradictory truths, such as I am broke and I am wealthy. Fear is evidence that I have successfully turned over the new idea to my subconscious mind through emotion. And if I persist in spite of the fear, I will overcome old programming. In the face of anxiety, I will proceed anyway. Let's see. Time-wise. Oops. Just checking, guys, to see how much. Yeah, I remember the story. It's going to take a little longer than we have today to do this. So this will be tomorrow. All right, Valerie, Rich, good morning. Any questions or comments?
Good morning, Kevin. I'm good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Kevin and Valerie. No comments other than, well, no questions. It's a pretty good, cute little story.
Yeah, go back and catch up if you haven't yet.
Yeah,
There's a lot of there's a lot to it. There really is.
yeah. Actually, I guess I do have one question. Is do you have the email of people that have signed up for this?
Do I have what now?
Emails of everybody that signed up for this daily law of attraction, or for some of us,
Yeah,
at
I do.
least.
Uh-huh.
Could you maybe possibly, like, instead of, because like right now I'm on my phone, um could you possibly like send maybe links to the books we've done in an email by any chance, so
Well,
that we could go from there?
so here here's how so you still need the link to the book is what you mean, right? I don't.
Yeah.
What I do in every single video is give instructions how to find it.
Right.
Now I do have access, but it's through Zoom, and the way it works is it shows registrations, but it's not quite as simple as just downloading it into an email thing and blasting it out. I have to take
Oh, okay.
I have to take them one by one and do it if I do it that way.
I see. Okay.
Or, I mean, yes, I could if I really wanted to take time and individually send them to everybody, but that's why I always make sure at the very beginning I tell people in the video that are watching, hey, here's exactly how to go find it. So.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okie dokie.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have an amazing day, and looks like we'll be finishing this book up tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks, Kevin.
Bye,
You're
Rich.
welcome.
Hopefully you're tomorrow. Bye-bye.